Hi, you're listening to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. This is a podcast for moms, entrepreneurs, and neurodivergent folks who want to get a better handle on their time and energy management. I am your host, Jill Wright, author of Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, and the creator of the Time Magic Seasonal Planner. I am so excited you're here. Let's dive straight into today's episode. Hey, everybody. It is the first day of school for my kids today, and that means it is officially back to school season. And with that comes a whole slew of challenges for working parents, as you can imagine. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, it is more than likely that you are yourself a working parent. You have experienced this transition either recently or it's coming up or it's happening right at the same time as me, where your kids are heading back to school. And that means your schedule is changing, your priorities are changing, your reality is changing. Everything kind of gets like thrown up in the air and lands wherever it will if we don't have a plan to deal with it. And I wanted to share with you today a few of the things that I do at this time of year and really with any seasonal transition, whether that be like a literal season, summer, winter, spring, fall, or see like a figurative seasonal transition where we're going into a new phase of life, like getting married, having a baby, buying a house, dealing with an elderly parent, going back to school, starting a business, getting on a fitness journey, whatever season of life we are in, if we consider it like that, I think really needs to be looked at with intention to create a plan to get through it in a way that feels easeful. Because if you consider what worked for you last season, literally or figuratively, and compare it with what your needs are in the new upcoming season, it might not always match. And it's good to know where you might need to make a couple shifts and bring in some new tips, tools, tricks, etc. So, I wanted to offer you today a mindset shift that I use when I'm going through this transition phase to really help me land and reduce a lot of the chaos and the noise in my head. And then the other thing I want to share with you is the Eisenhower Matrix. This is a tool that is, I mean, so valuable. Like you can't put a price on the ability to prioritize in a simple and effective way. And this tool allows us to do that. I didn't make it up, but it's widely used in productivity and time management circles. And if you haven't heard of it yet, I wanted to share it with you. Many of you, this will be a reminder, like a refresher, like, oh yeah, that thing exists. Yeah, this thing exists and it is a game changer. So buckle up. We are in for a bit of an informative episode. It's not going to be a long one, but I do want to share these with you. And if you are someone who is more like reading something lands it in your head better than hearing it, make sure you're on the newsletter because on Friday, this whole idea of both of these concepts are going to be outlined in my newsletter. So you can go to jillwright.ca right at the bottom. You can put your email address in there and you can receive my email. It goes out every week and it's full of tips and ideas, much like this one. So let's get into it. Like I said, I know many of you are in the same season right now where back to school is a thing and it comes with, oh gosh, it comes with all kinds of things. It comes with, navigating drop-offs and pickups, maybe an end of day program where you're getting home right all at dinner time and everybody falls out and nothing goes well. Everyone's crying and screaming and you're trying to get dinner on the table. It might come with extracurriculars or after school activities. It might come with, what do I do with these kids on the PD days, right? Maybe somebody now has a part-time job if you've got older kids in the household. Maybe there's band practice and homework and just navigating all of the emotions that come with our little ones with being back in the classroom, right? Maybe there's friendship dramas with the kids. Whatever season of life you're in, I can guarantee there is something that is different that's going to come up now that your kids are back to school, right? And so let's take a look at updating and shifting the way that we're handling ourselves and the way that we're doing things so that it actually works. Are you with me? Okay, great. Um, I think that looking back and seeing, okay, what worked last season and what's going to work now can be very helpful. Maybe some of the things will still be good. Maybe some of the things will not work, but you won't know until you go back and you actually like look through what your routines and habits have been and maybe what what you want to bring with you and what you want to leave in the previous season. Okay. I think also it's super important for us to change the way that we think about this particular season. It's challenging for working parents heading back into school, and we can get caught up in the chaos and feeling really frenzied and overwhelmed because there's a lot. There's permission forms and field trips and meet the teachers and all of the things this time of year that come with easing back into it. And I really want you to be able to feel like you are easing back into it. And so, a mindset shift that I use that I want to offer to you as well is this. And you can use it as an affirmation, or you could just keep it in your pocket as something that you sort of refer to and think of. But if you want to say it out loud with me, take a deep breath and repeat after me. Slowing down fuels my productivity. This is something that felt super counterintuitive to me when I first heard it. I did not understand how slowing down would allow me to get more done. And yet, after everything else failed and I had my burnout moment, my rock bottom, as many of us do, I realized what's the harm in trying because I've tried everything else and none of the other things worked. And honestly, slowing down is the thing that allowed me to speed up in the most impactful way. So, why this works? I'm not saying don't do all the things. Some of us can't avoid the things. They're there, they're required, it's part of life. We're in it. It's a busy season. Yes. And that doesn't mean that we need to be feeling busy as we're doing it. We can feel more calm, more spacious, more leveled out as we go through this busy season. We don't also have to feel as busy as our calendars look. Okay. And so the way to do this is to make sure that you are prioritizing rest and you are intentionally choosing where you're spending your time and energy. Because if you don't choose, it's going to get taken away and somebody else will dictate where that goes because there are so many demands placed on us at any given time, right? So I want to make sure that you are intentionally choosing where your time and energy are going and that you are intentionally slowing down and carving out some moments throughout the day, maybe a little ritual routine, maybe it's time confetti, maybe you can even find a self-care hour in your weeks. Whatever you can get, take it, even if it's just like a small little change and every little step counts. Like taking 5 minutes is 1,000% better than taking 0 minutes to just slow down, right? You're gonna actually feel, if you can get in the rhythm and habit of doing this, you're gonna feel calmer and you're gonna feel more capable of doing the things on your to-do list when you get back to it, right? I used to often think that, and this is the case with many like energized achiever type. If you've taken the quiz and that's you, you're gonna like resonate with this. But if we take time off, we're missing something, right? If we take time off, that means we're not getting as much done. We can't possibly get it done because there's not enough time to do everything. So I have to sacrifice the rest when that is literally not true. If you take the time for rest, I'm not saying ditch all of the work that you have to do today and just spend it on the couch. What I am saying is carve out small moments and periods of time that make sense within your workload to quiet down, to do something for your self-care, right? To fill your cup. Because when you do that and then you come back to the work that is still going to be there, just because you took a break doesn't mean that the work needs to come with you, right? The work is still going to be there when you're back. So you can leave it, you can come back to it. And when you come back to it, you're coming back to it stronger. You're coming back to it more focused, more clear, more productive because you took the time to charge yourself up, right? I think of it as like charging your battery. You have to stop and charge your phone battery. Yeah, you can work while it's plugged in, but we all know it gets really hot and finicky, and then you eventually wear down your battery more when you do it that way. So if you could just unplug, charge yourself up, and come back to it full, I promise you the results are going to be better. You're going to get things done faster because you're clear, right? Instead of just walking through this fog and sludge of like, the overwhelm and the brain fog and the tiredness, all of that, it gets you worse results. And I think if you're listening to this podcast, you are high achieving, you are ambitious, and you want to do things well, you want to do them right, you want to do them to the best of your ability, and you want to do it all. Don't we all, right? That's why we're here having these conversations. So do yourself a favor. The way to get there is take a break, schedule some downtime, and really view rest as a productivity tool. Okay, that PSA is done, but I will shout it from the rooftops. It's literally my whole framework about time magic is like how to incorporate productivity and rest and self-care. Equally important. Okay, off my soapbox. Now I want to share with you the Eisenhower Matrix. The Eisenhower Matrix is a beautiful framework and way of visually prioritizing your to-do list. Because if you're like me, you have a running list on your phone probably, or on a piece of paper, stuffed in your purse, whatever, in a notebook. Maybe there's multiple papers everywhere and you haven't consolidated them yet. And so or maybe it's all in your head, but you have a million things that you know you need to do. And so when our brain is inundated with ideas and things and to-dos, it can't easily distinguish what needs to get done first. And so we can end up in this cycle of like, oh, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. But then all you're doing is stressing about being busy and you're not getting things done, or you're crossing off the things that are really easy to do. So you feel like you're getting things done, but then things fall behind and you're missing deadlines and important things get missed because you didn't stop to consider what's actually a priority. So we're going to use the Eisenhower Matrix to prioritize the things at the beginning of the season. You can use this tool every day if you want, but we're going to use it specifically at the beginning of a new season. And we're going to use it to figure out what are our top priorities. So whatever time frame you have in mind where you want to use this tool, sort of do what I'm saying with that time frame in mind. Okay. So you're going to get a piece of paper and you're going to write, like, draw 4 boxes, 4 quadrants, if you will. 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, same size. And you're gonna label the top, on top of each box, you're gonna put urgent, not urgent. And then on the side, like, the right axis, well, if you're looking at me, my hands are backwards because of the mirror. But anyways, on the right-hand side, you're gonna write important and not important. So you're gonna have urgent, not important, urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Okay? And you're gonna just take a minute, write down every single thing in your brain. Doesn't have to be in any kind of order. You're going to brain dump it all on a piece of paper. You can bring in the list, consolidate, combine, get everything in one place. Okay. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to pop it into one of these 4 quadrants. And then based on where it is in this matrix, it's going to tell you how to deal with it and what's your priority. So you can start this by asking yourself 2 questions about each item on your to-do list. Okay. You're going to ask yourself, does this task need to be done this season? Or if this is like a daily matrix, does this task need to be done today? And then you're going to ask, does this task need to be done by me? Because as we know, as moms and as women, we are pretty guilty of wanting to do it all. We can be a little bit of control freaky. Let's just be honest. If sometimes it can take more time to tell someone how to do it right than just doing it yourself. So we just do it ourselves, right? I want to break that habit today. Just in general, that's a bad one, but do we really need to do this thing ourselves? And so as you're going through, let's say the first task that you have is urgent, has to get done in this time frame, and it does have to get done by you. So it's important that you do it, right? It's urgent and important. It ends up in that top left-hand corner, quadrant 1. Those are the things you do, AKA your frogs. That list is going to be the shortest because if we're being honest with ourselves, there are very few things that are urgent and important that need to be done by us in this time frame. Okay? But those are the things you're going to start with. You're going to schedule those in ASAP, do them today, do them early, eat those frogs, get that done because those are the needle movers. And once you get those things done, you're freeing up mental space, you're freeing up anxiety, you're not worrying, you're not like procrastinating. So much space on your calendar and in your brain gets freed up if you just do these quadrant 1 activities ASAP, first thing, as soon as you can. Okay. Things that end up in the quadrant 2, which are important but not urgent things, like it's important you do them, and they are important to do, but they don't have to be done today or like this week, right? Maybe not even in this season. Those things can be scheduled. You can delay them, right? You can decide when you're going to put them on your calendar. But the important thing is that you do actually put them on your calendar or set yourself a reminder on your digital calendar, like, hey, come back to this thing in two weeks' time. Revisit it. You don't want to forget about them. They are important. But if you schedule them for a later date, okay, I don't have to worry about that thing right now. And I'm not going to forget about it. It's important. It's going to get done. And I've dedicated a time to do it. Just a quick caveat, self-care items often fall into quadrant two. Like, yes, they're important, but they're not urgent. And so we put them off and we put them off. And that's why it's really important for these quadrant two activities, whatever they are, make sure you get them on the schedule so that they actually happen. Okay. The third quadrant, which is like bottom left, that is your urgent, they got to get done, but it's not really important that they get done by you activities. And so, or at least you don't consider them that important, but somebody else is making them urgent, oftentimes is how that one goes. Other people's priorities. Those are the things you delegate. You push back, you assign, you get help, or you pay someone to do it, you task a friend, you swap, you trade, you get rid of these things off of your to-do list altogether. And the sooner that you can do this and the more that you practice, the better it's going to be. There are so many things that we hold on to because we think we can do them the best, or somebody else wouldn't understand, it would take too much time, or they're not going to do it right. All of these things, they're bullshit excuses to help us. I don't know what they help us with, but we often all do it. And it keeps our to-do lists and our busy schedules and our calendars padded with things that aren't things that we need to do. So please practice. It's hard. I know it is. I totally get it. Practice just one thing, even if you can. I'd be so proud of you if you could even just fit one thing into that quadrant, because it is difficult for us to let go. The more you practice it, though, the easier it becomes, right? Ask me how I know. I am now an expert at delegating. And I have had to come to terms with the fact that, yeah, the dishwasher is not going to get loaded in the exact way that I would do it, but it's going to get loaded and I didn't have to do it. Okay? That's something that has to get done today. It's urgent because if we don't do it, there will be no dishes cleaned for tomorrow, but I don't have to do it. It's not important that I do it. My 8-year-old can help me with that, you know? So think about what those activities are for you. Look at your to-do lists. What can you honestly put in this quadrant 3 and delegate to someone else? Okay. And then the last quadrant, the bottom right, is quadrant 4 activities. These are things that you don't classify as urgent or important in this season of life. And so you're not doing them. They are going to stay on this little list. You can create even like a separate list and keep it somewhere safe so you don't lose it, you don't forget about it. But we're not even reminding ourselves about these. These are not even things we're scheduling on our calendar for a later date. They are hope tos, right? If you've been around a while, you've heard me talk about have tos and hope tos. These are your hope tos. It'd be great to get these done in this season. And if you don't, nobody will die. Nothing is going to fall down, crumble, break, collapse. It's okay if these things don't get done. Yes, I know you want to get them done, or else they wouldn't be on your list. Of course, they feel urgent and important. But when you ask yourself honestly and you're comparing in this matrix form to the other things on your list, it's easier to see what can wait, you know? Like what doesn't have to get done right now. And when you do what I've told you to do and practice delegating, scheduling, and doing the things early, eating those frogs, guess what happens? You create time in your schedule, right? Because you've been productive, you've been resting, it naturally allows you to get things done quicker. And you know, I used to have this T-shirt that was from a cafe in Lake Louise. When I lived there, there's this, it's still there actually, this little coffee shop called Trailheads. And they had a T-shirt that I bought that said, drink coffee, do stupid things faster with more energy. And that's kind of how I think about time management and rest and delegating and prioritizing. Let's drink coffee, AKA in our world now, do the things or schedule the things or take the rest, right? Do it so that you can do stupid things faster with more energy. Maybe they're not stupid things, but if you're able to, do you get my point? I might go on a complete tangent here. Do the things, take care of what's important in a timely fashion, efficiently and intentionally. And guess what? You're going to have time to do those hope tos. You're going to find the time to do the things that are in quadrant 4. Whereas if you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, everything is important, you can't prioritize, you're just doing stupid little stuff, nothing gets done, there's no way those quadrant 4 things are ever going to get done. And by the way, the quadrant 1, 2, and 3 things probably won't get done either. Or if they do, you're not going to feel easeful, spacious, and calm when you're doing them. So do yourself a favor, go get a piece of paper two, actually, one for the brain dump, consolidating of all the to-dos, everything that's in your mind, and a second paper where you can write this little matrix, draw your four squares. Is it urgent? Is it important? And use that as a guiding light for this season of life. It truly is a game changer. I think that only good can come when you do this activity. It doesn't need to take a long time. And if you feel like you need some extra support figuring out what goes where, hit me up. We can have a little session. If you want some support trying to figure out where do I build in the time to actually take rest so that I can be more productive, like Jill, that's a cool idea. I like it. I see the value. I see you're telling me the truth, and I don't know how to get there. I am literally I'm here for you. This is what I do. And so if you want to connect and get some more one-to-one support with that, grab a time in my calendar. I'll put the link in the show notes. I have a few spots open for time tune-ups in September still. So please don't hesitate. This is important. This stuff needs to get done. You are worth spending the time, energy, and money to get a handle on this before the holiday season comes, because guys, that's a whole other conversation. Right after school, guess what? There's Halloween, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, right? There's New Year's, and then there's a whole other change of season, right? Literally, we go from fall to winter and everything changes again. It takes longer to get dressed and out in the morning because we've got snowsuits and boots and we're shoveling driveways. I mean, I am here in the Great White North. But anyways, all of this to say, please take these tools. Let me know what's helpful. Let me know if you need some help. There are so many podcast episodes as well that I've done that you can scroll back, take a gander. If you have the Time Magic Planner, you can see the little resources. There's like a link to go deeper with resources. There's so much information there if you are trying to weekly get a handle on your planning. I have so many resources that I want to offer you. Not all of them cost money. So please reach out if you need some guidance on where to go next. And just thank you for being here and taking this time for yourself today, because that in and of itself shows me that you want to make this happen, that you value your time and your energy, and you want to get a handle on this back to school season. Or maybe you're just a little bit curious about how I did it, which I didn't actually share much about in this episode. But if you're curious, let me know. Maybe I can do an episode of what it literally looks like in my day to day. So that is all for today. Thank you for being here. If you found value in this episode, please share it. Please subscribe. Please like, and subscribe, as my kids say, right? With YouTube. Make sure you don't miss an episode, and a rating and a review really helps with the algorithms to get this content in front of other people who could really use it. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing. Talk to your friends about these things. Share the knowledge. It is called the ripple effect. If I teach you something and you go and then teach your spouse, friend, community, they're going to go and talk about it. And it's like I drop one thing of water and it ripples and it grows. And that's how we change the world and how we change the culture. So thank you again for being here. And until next week, keep on growing like a mother.